The 7 Cozy Shorts. Bedtime stories for grown-ups. Written by Erica M. Sabo. Narration and music by Pat Mahoney. The Ghost of Prince Akhmose. Layla shifted in her sleep, and her eyes shot open. Her gaze locked on the man sitting in her chair, and her scream echoed through the small room. Akhmose was startled by her ear-piercing scream and stood up. "You can see me? How is that possible?" The second scream froze in Layla's throat, and curiosity took over fear when she realized the man was speaking the language that hadn't been spoken for thousands of years. They heard running footsteps, and Mara burst through the door with a baseball bat in her hand. What's wrong?" she shouted, looking around the room like a madwoman. Layla pointed in the direction where Akhmose stood. "There's a man in my room!" "Where?" Mara turned around, bat raised, ready to hit the intruder. "You don't see? He's standing right there!" Mara stared at the empty chair Layla was pointing at, but then she looked back at her in confusion. "There's nobody here! Are you blind? There's a man standing by the chair dressed in... What the bloody hell is this?" She stood up and stared at the man. "He's dressed in a tunic and he has the headdress of the Princess of Egypt on his head?" Akhmose stood still with his hands up, trying to back away from Mara. His eyes glanced back and forth between them. Although the place didn't look at all like a palace, he was sure by the self-assured, authoritative manner of the two young women that they were definitely no servants. The Potion. Prologue. Cordelia, the high priestess of the Ravenwood Coven, stood before the altar lighting candles one by one. The room was dark, and the flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls. Her hair was pulled into a bun, her statuesque figure hid under her long, hooded cape. She held her arms high, reciting a prayer. "Lady of the Moon, let my mind be attuned. I need your guidance. Lord of the Sunrise, hear my humble cries. I need your guidance." Cordelia flipped her cape, turned around with 3 silver goblets on a tray, and stared at the nervous-looking young women and man sitting side by side. Her stern expression sent shivers down their spines. She reached them with a few small steps and stood over them before handing them the goblets. "Drink!" Her booming voice filled the room. Olivia, a slender, dark-haired young woman, Candace, the athletic-built blonde, and Dorian, a dark-haired young man, exchanged nervous glances. Bittersweet memories. He then looked at Alana with a smirk on his face. "Skating with your eyes closed. You were asking for it." The phrase echoed in Alana's mind. Something familiar tugged at the forefront of her memory at his words. Something cruelly familiar. "You were asking for it." She caught a glimpse at the ragged scar on his left cheek and realized what her unconscious mind was trying to tell her. Alone. I wish midnight could tell us. Anyway, when you cross the portal, you should feel dizzy, but for a moment. When your vision clears, everything is supposed to look normal. Don't forget, exactly 1 hour later, I'll open the portal when I've detected the signals emitting from both locators. Got it, Dad. I'm ready. Frank closed the door on the bubble with trembling fingers, sitting himself down in front of the monitors and the control panel. The machine started humming. When he pushed engage, his son and the fluffy black cat disappeared.